Welcome back, SethBling here. Minecraft Snapshot 14w18a was released today, and it basically has one new feature, and it has to do with these slime blocks. But this new feature is really cool, and definitely very useful. And you can see it here. The slime blocks basically stick to each other when being pushed or pulled by pistons. That's it, but it has a lot of implications. Let me kind of show you some of the stuff you can do with this. Here I've got some flying machines that I've built. Let's just go ahead and put down some redstone. You can see this is a completely autonomous flying machine. It's moving completely on its own. I think I can stand here and it'll probably push me along. It's a little bit buggy, but yeah. So it's flying entirely on its own. It's not touching the ground. It could be, way up in the air and it would still do the same thing. Here's another different design for a flying machine. This one is a little bit slower. It has 5 pistons in the cycle rather than 4 pistons like that one. There's some other designs I found on Reddit. This one is by Dolphris, and let's see, I think if I just put a block here it'll start going. Yeah, I think that's maybe a little faster than that one. And then here's these guys over here. Didn't mean to put that there. Well, it's part of the machine now. So yeah, there's a bunch of different flying machines. None of these are touching the ground at all. I guess the one farthest in distance is probably the fastest out of the 4. And this last one was designed by Staffen on Reddit. Okay, so there's other cool stuff you can do. Here I've got some doors. Let's see. Yeah, so you flick a lever and very quick and easy triple door. You can see there's very little redstone to it. I think I have a little bit more compact version over here. Yeah, people were complaining about compactness in my last video, so I made it a little bit more compact. So this one is the same sort of design. Very compact. This one over here, I don't even know. It's kind of cool. You can move an entire stack very quickly. Not much to it. Okay, so there's another property of slime blocks that I will show you now, and that is that if a piston with a slime block pushes any entity, it launches it up, and of course you bounce. If I toss some items onto a pad like this, push the button, they'll go flying. So it works for any entity. And so I've used that here to create a little bit of an elevator. So if I come up and stand right here, push the button, basically I'm triggering tripwire that triggers some pistons and slime blocks and bounces me upward. And so this is a new kind of automatic elevator. And then when I get to the top, it'll just push me right up here. And I can just take a dive down and land on the slime blocks. Of course, if you hold space, it prevents the jump, so it's kind of an easy down elevator. Let me go over how all this stuff works a little bit more specifically. There's obviously a lot of details to it. Okay, so once again, basically if you have a piston and is touching a slime block, or it's facing a slime block, then you're going to push more than one block at a time. So it's going to look for any slime blocks that are contiguous with the one slime block that the piston's facing. And it's going to push all of them, plus any blocks that are next to them. You can see off in the distance my machines are still flying. Yeah, so all of these blocks are going to get pushed. Here's another example. Now that there's a limit of up to 12 slime blocks that can get pushed at once. So here we have 12, they all get pushed. Here we have 13 slime blocks. Doesn't work. If I maybe pop out the middle one, now it does work. And then here's another example. So we have a slime block and a redstone block attached to it. Now this is a sticky piston. It's going to push them and then pull them back in. When it does that, it's actually going to create a little clock. When it when it pushes the slime block out, the redstone block gets pushed away and the piston's no longer powered, so it retracts, and then the redstone is powering it, and then it, does this indefinitely. Let's see, I should be able to stop it. Let's get some obsidian in my inventory. Come on. Nope. Nope. Man. What? How did it even... I placed it here and it got over there somehow. I can't stop it. I can't stop it. I can't... Ooh, alright, that was a close one. Here we have a block update detector. This is definitely the most simple design for a block update detector now. Any update next to this piston is going to cause it to update. This is because of quasi-conductivity and sort of the normal way that block update detectors work. It'll work with, you know, redstone ore, like I showed in a recent video. Let's put it right here. If I step on it, yeah. Anyway, block update detector, pretty cool. So here we have a slime block. It's attached to this one, and so there's 2 more blocks in the way. So in order for it to push, it's going to have to push those blocks, and indeed it does. Here's another example. We've got a slime block in the middle, so just one slime block, and then there's 4 blocks attached to it. These 4 red wool blocks, and they have to push even more red wool blocks over here. And it turns out it can't push this. So there's 16 red wool blocks. It's 4 times 4 plus the 1 slime block in the middle. That's 17. I can't push those because it can only push 12 at once. So if I knock it down by 4, it still shouldn't be able to do that. But if I get rid of 1 more, then it can do it. Yeah, and it's not going to retract these guys because they're not attached to a slime block that's contiguous with the, you know, the one that's the piston's facing. Okay, so there are some blocks that can't be pushed by pistons or pulled by pistons, and these are, you know, well known. You can't push or pull chests or furnaces or obsidian. You can push and pull redstone blocks, so that's exactly what we see here. The slime block's only able to push or pull just that one block. It just ignores those other blocks. Now, if I did put a obsidian block here, now this one can't push this one, and the whole assembly is not going to work. It's not that it's going to just take the slime block and push it and say, oh, well, I can't push the redstone block. The whole thing isn't going to work. Okay, so here we have 7 by 2 slime blocks. That's 14 slime blocks. It's too many for one piston to push. We've got 2 pistons here, but it still doesn't work. And the reason why is that each piston individually calculates the number of blocks that it needs to push. And so it looks at this one and says, okay, I need to push these 14 slime blocks plus this other piston block, which is attached to a slime block. So that's 15 blocks. Can't do it. Not going to do it. If I cut this down, it's still 13 blocks because it's 12 slime blocks plus 1 piston, and each of them sees the same calculation. Now if I drop it 1 lower, one of the pistons will win. Yeah, this one wins, and it's able to push all 12 blocks. You can see it kind of drags the other piston along with it before this other piston's able to get powered. Drags along with it. Okay, here we have like 6 or 7, yeah, I guess 6 slime blocks, 7 slime blocks. So it's able to push the 6 slime blocks, but it can't retract 13 slime blocks. So once you get 13 slime blocks in a row like this, you're going to have a hard time moving them around with pistons. Here I'm just showing that you can retract and it will kind of push other blocks along. So we have only these 2 blocks are actually getting controlled directly by the piston, but this one is in the way of this one, so it's got to get pulled as well. So they all move. Alright, just a couple more things. Just kind of interesting stuff that I noticed, or kind of explaining how some of the stuff I showed earlier in the video works. Here's this thing. Basically, this piston's going to move along in a row and move by 1 block each time. And it's kind of cool the way it works. When you push the button, the slime blocks over here move the piston on down away from me. And then this thing gets extended, and then when these slime blocks are tracked, this piston's still extended, so they can't retract this this piston because it's not a movable block, and so it just stays where it is. So each time I'm basically sliding it down the row by 1, which is kind of cool behavior. And if I flip this repeater around and use this button, I can basically cause the opposite behavior. When the slime blocks extend, this thing is extended already and it can't extend, but when they retract, this thing is flat and it's a movable block at that point, so it gets moved. So this is just something kind of neat. It's kind of like a counter sort of thing, which is cool, I think. Okay, so here I want to show you, this is basically how I made the 3x3 door. This is not my invention. This was in the Zip Crowd's video where they showed off the mod originally. This whole thing is based on a mod written by the Zip Crowd. Cool stuff. It's kind of a community submission. So basically the way that this 3x3 door works is if I activate these 3 pistons, the whole door goes up. If I deactivate them in the reverse order, they go down. And actually, I can do it in, if I just go from top to bottom, it'll kind of, ooh, well, it doesn't quite work perfectly. Yeah, anyway, yeah, so if I do it from bottom to top and then top to bottom, it does work correctly anyway. And it's kind of non-intuitive behavior, what's going on here, but when I flick the first piston, it kind of carries the other 2 pistons along with it. And so then this piston is now aligned with the middle obsidian block here, and then that carries along this piston with it, and then now this is aligned up with this 3rd obsidian block, and it moves it into place. And so that's how I made the door. And there was basically a thing around this. Now it's actually very important that I'm using obsidian here, because if I used any other block, the slime blocks would try and basically pull those other blocks along with them, and the whole door would not work because there'd be too many blocks to move all at once. But that's how you do it. It's very, very simple, very straightforward, and very easy to build a door like that now. I wanted to go over how I built the flying machines. So the basic idea here is, let's say I push this button. What's going to happen? Well, this piston's going to extend. It's going to cause all of these slime blocks to move together, and it's going to cause this piston to move forward. When this piston moves forward, it's going to be on top of a redstone block, so it'll extend. And it's going to push these 2 slime blocks, plus this redstone block, plus this piston, all forward 1 block, that direction. And when it does that, you know, this piston is on top of the redstone, but the redstone's going to move forward, so it'll retract, and then this thing will do the same thing. It's going to be on top of this redstone. It's going to push all 3 of these blocks forward, and then the redstone it'll no longer be on top of the redstone. So we'll see that. I was not supposed to use a sticky piston for that one. Let's see if I can get rid of it. But so now we're in the exact same situation, right? This looks exactly the same. The only difference is that the piston over here is 1 farther out. So if I just move everything over, I need a button. Same thing happens again, and so let's say I had a couple more of these, and then whatever was over there is attached to this thing, moving this piston forward. You can kind of see how the chain will just repeat itself over and over if I just have this sort of structure here, basically like this. The whole thing is gonna just repeat itself over and over, and that's what causes it to fly off to the distance. I guess I kind of already got rid of them, but yeah, that's basically the mechanics in the snapshot. There's a lot you can do with this stuff. I'm sure we've only barely scratched the surface. Let's see. Oh yeah, over here. Don't know that. Yeah, I don't think that I have any more remaining. But you can see this is like a version with 3 pistons. It doesn't work because the timing doesn't work out. But you can see basically if I place a redstone block here, it pushes this stuff forward. Push this on top of the redstone. This one's unable to push this because this thing was still extended. So yeah, it just doesn't work. You need 4 pistons in a cycle in order for it to fly off indefinitely like that. But yeah, it's a very, very cool snapshot. I'm really looking forward to playing around with this stuff. I know a lot of the guys in the redstone community are. This is probably the biggest thing we've gotten since hoppers, I would say. So very, very cool. If you want to see the whole change log for the 14w18a snapshot, there's some bug fixes and stuff. There's a link in the video description. That's about it. Thanks for watching.